With so much software available in the short-term rental industry these days, it's increasingly difficult to keep up to date with what's on the market and to determine whether it's a maybe or a must-have for you and your business. So meet one provider each week in a short interview, learning what they do and what they offer. So if you have around 15 minutes to spare, it could prove to be a very good investment to stick around. So let's see who and what is out there, one by one, with me, Deborah Larby, also known as the Guest Inspector. 3. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Techsplained with the Guest Inspector. Pricing your property has always been the $64,000 question. What do you charge? How much is New Year's Eve worth? What are the competitors charging? Are you missing out and leaving money on the table? There is obviously something to be said about getting your price right, and today we're going to learn more about that. Today I'm chatting with Amelia, who's going to explain to us what Wheelhouse does and offers. Hello Amelia, how are you?
Hello, wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me. So Amelia, we're going to launch straight into it. In one sentence, what does Wheelhouse do?
Wheelhouse is a best-in-class revenue management software for the short-term rental industry.
Okay, so I'm a property manager. I'm coming to you. What do I do and what do I get from Wheelhouse?
So yeah, revenue management software. So we do dynamic pricing for short-term rentals. So we have a suite of tools, but our main product is our dynamic pricing tool. So basically the idea is you put in your parameters for your settings. So you can put in your maximums, your minimums of your minimum night stays, your minimum pricing. And then the really powerful Wheelhouse engine will work within those parameters to update your pricing every single day based on market pricing as well as real-time demand data.
Mm-hmm. So you're connected obviously with all the OTAs. So I have to put my listings into the Wheelhouse dashboard and set my parameters. One question is, I did see something about a maximum price. As a property manager, why would I put in a maximum price? Or isn't it just like, how much are you prepared to pay?
Yeah, we get that question a lot. And so one use case is putting in a maximum just to avoid a poor review if your listing was oversold for whatever reason. So the longer your listings are connected to Wheelhouse, the more the algorithm will pick up on how they act in the market. But initially there could be some spikes in pricing that we're reading from demand that could go above your maximum price. So if you just want to put a price ceiling in that you don't think would be fair for your customers, we allow that. But most people leave it blank because that's a rare case.
Mm-mm-mm. And I saw that you have some pricing options. So I could go conservative. So what are the pricing options?
So we come up with a recommended base price for each of your individual listings initially, which is customizable. But we do have a range of options that you can choose from. So it goes anywhere from conservative to aggressive. But of course, you can customize that base price. And that's really the kickoff point for the algorithm. And then from there, we're reacting to real-time demand. We're looking at historical data to adjust your prices every day based on that real-time demand. So that base price is really just the kickoff point for your listings. And then just another way to customize where the algorithm starts with your specific listings.
Mm-hmm. And what about if I want to have different prices on different channels?
So we don't do necessarily per channel pricing. That would still be done within your PMS or channel manager. It's just a way that the different systems interact with bookings. Mm-hmm. You can still very easily do that within your PMS.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. Okay. What is your unique selling point?
So we have a number of areas that are unique selling points, as well as just my favorite things about Wheelhouse. The number one most unique thing is probably a reactive demand model. It's the only truly dynamic demand-based pricing model available to short-term rental property managers. So basically what that means is a lot of pricing tools will look at historical information in your market, as well as what's currently being listed. That's helpful, and we do use that, but it can be tricky because of COVID. Lead times are really volatile. Market trends are pretty unpredictable, and they will probably continue to be. So what's really helpful is our unique demand-based model, which is unique to Wheelhouse. And that's looking at real-time transactional data in the market. So we're seeing what's actually booking in your market and then blending those prices in as they come in. So our recommended rate is a blend of historical information, what we thought the market would have done given historical trends, but then we're blending in the real-time transactional data to give you the real source of truth in your market every day.
Mm-mm. And you also have a feature where I can check out what my competitors are doing too. Is that correct?
Yeah. So that's one of our business intelligence tools. So again, we have our dynamic pricing, but then we have a number of tools that make it really easy to identify where you might want to go on your calendar to get a bit more revenue. One of them being competitive sets. So you're able to see your next door neighbor competitors every single day listing. You can see their revenue performance, occupancy performance, their minimum stay settings, a lot of really good insights there.
Mm-hmm. So you can see where you fit within it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have a market report and the competitive sets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those are two of our business intelligence tools. As far as other unique selling points, we have a 24/7 customer success team. They're amazing. A ton of our reviews revolve around them. You can talk to a real person anytime. So we rave about them and they're incredibly helpful. And then we're also Key Data's preferred pricing partner. So they are the largest proprietary data provider in the short-term rental space. And they chose Wheelhouse as their preferred pricing partner. We both have a lot of priorities around transparency. So we always want you to know exactly where your prices are coming from. And now we have Key Data's information fueling our engine even further.
That's great. Okay, so why use your product?
So our product is, we get a lot of great feedback on usability of our interface. So we make it really easy to adjust your pricing and settings. And again, the idea is to put in those parameters so that you can trust the engine to work within your expectations every night. So we leave a ton of room for customization. We think your experience in your market is really valuable. And it can be kind of scary to hand over your pricing to a pricing tool. So we just want to make sure that you're able to put in your exact parameters so that you can sleep well at night. Overall, we aim to maximize your revenue in high demand times and optimize your occupancy in low demand times. So with that, with a lot of like manual pricing, you might have your prices at one point, and then as the state date's approaching, you're dropping it to the floor. But Wheelhouse really enables you to catch those prices on the way down. And in that way, we're able to maximize your revenue. And it's just a lot less tedious manual work. You can just let the engine run in the background and then pop into our portfolio pricing view, where you can see every day's pricing for each of your listings in one view, and then just kind of poke in and see where you want to intervene, rather than having to update those settings every day and kind of worry about adjusting your minimum night stays as the stay date approaches. So overall, we're looking to increase your revenue on average about 22.6%. So that's what we aim to do.
I usually ask about white labeling, but I suppose this is completely not relevant. I mean, it's all through. Yeah. Okay. Who is your target audience? Now, do you have a particular size company or property manager that you're targeting?
Yeah, well, I will actually touch on white labeling. So we might call it something different, but essentially we have a list of PMS connections and channel manager connections that we integrate with already. So like Streamline, Track, Guesty, companies like that, as well as, of course, Airbnb. But then we also have a pricing API. So independent, like proprietary systems can build to the Wheelhouse engine to pull that pricing. So you work with our engineering team. It's pretty easy. We just send over some documents and you can build to us. We also have a demand signal API that other proprietary data providers or systems can use to pull our demand data as well. So a few different ways to access Wheelhouse.
So does that mean then that on my own website, I can be pulling Wheelhouse prices onto my own website, showing on my own website then?
Yeah, in most scenarios, sometimes we have to look at the systems and how they interact, but our engineering team is always open to that conversation and seeing how that would work.
Okay, that's good. Was there something else that you were going to add just now that I interrupted you?
I was going to move on to your next question of kind of our target audience.
Yeah.
Sure. So we work with both short and mid-length stay providers, anyone with 1 to thousands of listings. Also with that Key Data partnership, we have worldwide data. So we work with people around the world in different countries and continents all over.
Yep. So a global audience, and it doesn't matter what size, one property is enough.
Yep. Yeah. All experience levels. It can be as close to a set it and forget it tool as you want, or for really highly involved revenue managers, it's also an amazing tool.
Yes. Okay. Now, how does pricing work then for your service?
So billing wise, we have two different pricing options. We really want our users to make more money, of course. So we have, especially during COVID, we came out with an extra pricing option. So you can split your portfolio on a listing by listing basis for what makes sense for them. So we have one option that is 1% of revenue that does not include taxes or fees. That usually is the route most people take. That can be helpful if you have like a home share situation with a property with less availability, or if market trends are really low, something like that. But most of the time, the flat rate works for customers. If you have one listing, it starts at $19.99 per month per listing, but we do bulk discounts starting at like 10 listings. So if you have like over 100, it'll be close to like $13.99.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it kind of falls within that range.
Okay, great. And is there a contract that anyone has to sign, or can they just do it monthly, month to month?
You can just do it monthly. So of course we hope that you would work with us and kind of to troubleshoot, but month to month.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
great. Now, is there? I've come to the end of my questions. Is there anything else that you wanted to add that we should know about Wheelhouse?
I think just in general, as I slightly mentioned before, a lot of people are hesitant about going with a pricing tool, but we have really interesting ways to kind of see what it would look like to work with us without having to pay anything. You don't have to fully sign up. You can connect your listings, and we can walk through a side-by-side comparison of your current rates overlaid on top of what Wheelhouse would be recommending. So then if you work with us, we can just step through those differences, see if there's some room to maximize your revenue, and kind of get your expectations in line for what Wheelhouse would be pricing your listings. Then we can also step through all the different ways to customize it, just to make sure that your specific owner rules and things like that are in there on a listing by listing basis. And then you can also make adjustments across your whole portfolio in 3 clicks. So we make it really easy and approachable. We'd be happy to work with anyone just to get you more comfortable with the idea of using a pricing tool.
Yeah, well, that sounds great. Well, we've come to the end of the interview. Thank you very much, Amelia, for your time. If you have any questions for Amelia or Wheelhouse, please pop them in the comments below. I will put a link for Wheelhouse in the description and a link for the guest inspector. So thank you very much for your time, Amelia. It's been great learning about Wheelhouse.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to meet some of you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.